Shelley Winter in for my brother Mark Aram. He's out until he'll be back Friday. I normally air Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. So I'll be here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then he'll be back on Friday. He's off for Passover and spring break. And I thank him very much from the bottom of my heart for allowing me to fill in. And I apologize for losing. I getting a little loud sometime. I'm fairly passionate with what I do here, and I've got to learn to control my emotions. And so I apologize to all of you for being unmark-like, because I'm filling in for him. I'm supposed to be similar to him as I fill in. So Mark never loses his temper or anything, and so I got to be more like that. So I'm learning. Please don't hold it against me. So we played a couple seconds ago, if you're just joining us, a rapper by the name of Trick Daddy, Goldmouth, really good rapper. Songs are very good to me, you know. I dance to them when they play. But he was invited to perform at the Alpha Kappa Alpha Regional Conference. Now, let me tell you something. When Alpha Kappa Alpha is a sorority, right? And so a lot of people are going to get mad with what I'm about to say. But when I went to Syracuse, right, the Deltas were fine. The AKAs were fine. But over the course of my lifetime, I've met more finer AKAs than Deltas. That's not to say the Deltas, they're fine. I'm talking about these are beautiful women. All of them are beautiful women. I'm just speaking on my life. Over the course of my life, I've come across, if I've counted, not my body count, my who I've met, I've come across a lot more beautiful AKAs than Deltas. That's not to say the Deltas aren't fine. Please don't get me wrong. Don't get mad at me. But the AKAs, they have style and grace, right? These are the bourgeois women, right? Cotillion women. And so they had a regional conference. And so they invited this rapper, Trick Daddy, to perform at their regional conference. Now, it's not a bad thing, to be honest with you. It's not a bad thing, right? The guy's a rapper, he's got the language, everything, going on and everything. So it's not a bad thing. But here's what happened that a lot of people aren't talking about, right? Here's what happened. If you're a part of a civic organization, right? Oh, I'm getting so much. Vinny, I can't believe Vinny didn't stop me from saying about the Deltas and AKs. You know how much trouble I'm going to get in for that comment? For real, Vinny? You know what? It's crazy. Why'd you let me say that? Vinny's supposed to stop me from saying things like that.
That one's on you.
Yeah, all right. Well, I'll take I'm going to get in so much trouble. But anyway, at these conferences, if you're a part of a civic organization, right, whether it's fraternity, sorority, I'm a Mason, Masonry, or any kind of civic organization, right, when you have a conference, right, there are groups of people that come to these conferences because they're usually in towards the like Wednesday or Thursday they start and they end on a Saturday, right? And they'll have Sunday brunch, but they usually run from like a Wednesday night opening party or whatever, and they run through Saturday, right? Because it's cheaper that way, and it kind of becomes a little mini vacation for people. So in this case, they had this AKA or sorority, a prominent sorority, beautiful women, all accomplished, all educated, all doing well in life. For instance, Kamala Harris was an AKA, Alpha Kappa Alpha, right? So they had this regional conference. And so what happens is the members of the group who are new to the organization, say within the first 5 years, they may be 5 or 6 years out of college, and they became AKAs in college, and now they're 5 or 6 years. They're just getting into their careers. They're not married. They have no kids. They're really just working, and they're all accomplished. They're all beautiful. Those women will go to the conference. And those women, by and large, would want to see a Trick Daddy perform. But then you have another group of people that go to these conferences when you're part of a civic organization, and that's the retired women or people. So the older AKAs, these are your grandmothers or maybe your older mothers. They may have pledged in the 70s, maybe even the 60s. Quite possibly the youngest one of them they may have pledged in the early 80s. But they're now retired. The kids are way out of the house. They're dealing with grandmother issues where they can come around when they want to. They can travel. They can do things. They bank their money. They're married a long time. They're in happy marriages. Those women are also at the conference. And so when a guy like Trick Daddy comes on the stage and starts singing his lyrics and performing his set, those are the women that get upset. Because they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. This is not AKA stuff. This is not what we do. And so they get mad. The younger women are like, what are you talking about? Drop it. They're dancing and doing their thing. The guys who attended, some of them husbands, some of them just men in the right place at the right time, who recognize, yo, homie, you know there's an AKA conference this year down at the Hyatt. They got the after party at 7 o'clock. There's a bunch of guys that do that. I used to be one of them. That's why I could speak on this. Word spread fast. AKAs are in town. Just like with women, the Qs are in town or the Alphas are in town, and all the women come gather at these places. It's like fishing in a barrel when I was in, that kind of life. I'm not like that anymore. I'm a serious man.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a serious man. I don't do that anymore. But they, all joking aside, they're having a conference. And so the younger generation of women, they are all for it. They'd see no problem with it. But the older generation, they're the ones who had a problem. So they stopped Trick Daddy mid-concert, mid-performance, and shut it down. And I'm saying, well, you do know who you had. But see, it's not really their fault. Because probably the planners of the conference were in that group of AKAs that are just new AKAs, or they're maybe 10 years out. They're not married, or even if they are, they don't see anything wrong with a Trick Daddy performing for this for their conference. But the older ones saw a problem with it, so they shut down a performance. But it's a generational thing. I can tell you that's exactly what this was. But wait, what made this such a funny story is that it's the AKAs. It wasn't some random group. These are the pink and green ladies. These are the ladies that they were taught to carry their heads up straight, walk with a straight back. You can have a career, but you're going to raise this family too. Many of them were sent to college by their middle class, upper middle class families to find a good man. Not necessarily not to have a career, but to find a good man and raise a family. I'm telling you, I'm in the middle of it. I know it. And so that's what the problem became. But it goes back to what I talked about with the 404 shootings. I know I was joking. I said some things that may be taken the wrong way. But I want to tell you why I brought this up. Because many people listening to me right now, you have no idea who Trick Daddy is, and you have no idea who the AKAs are, beyond the fact that you know or you heard at some point that Kamala Harris was an AKA when she ran for president. Here's why I bring it up. A group of women in a sorority, or a group of women anywhere, should never, ever think that it's okay to bring Trick Daddy or Uncle Luke or Little Baby or any of these rappers around you to perform. You may have grown up on it. You may dance to it in a club. But at your conference, this is the problem. This is why we had 404 shootings this past weekend. I'm not blaming the women. I'm just telling you, think about it. The AKAs, a vaunted, highly celebrated, highly beautiful, highly brilliant, very well-raised and educated group of women hired Trick Daddy to perform at their regional conference. And the women that got upset were the women at the older end who are the ones who are trying to save their babies. Remember that, ladies and gentlemen. You're the AKAs. Your standards have to be above everyone else's. And I'm sorry, I love Trick Daddy's music. But if I was sitting at that organizing committee table and someone would have said, I know, let's get Trick Daddy, I would have said, no, You're the AKs. You don't get Trick Daddy. 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB-TALK. Shelley Winter in for Mark Arum. We'll be right back.